Welcome to the Gregory Nesmith Show, a place where we take politics, we take culture, we take personal development, and we put it all up in a blender, and it spits out a special delivery of underdog stuff. You know the uns, the unavoidable, the underrated, the unconventional, the unsaid, uninhibited, the unbelievable. You get it by now, underdog stuff. And as always, we get personal about the news and the culture around here. You can go to CNN to get the coverage of the news. Or for some of you who lean to the right, you can go to Fox News and get the coverage of the news too. But what we do here is we're going to cover it. We're going to commentate about it. But we also going to get personal about it too. And as always, I take you on the journey every week. Live from the studios and the airwaves of WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. You have your host, Gregory Nesmith, entrepreneur, content creator, consultant and coach, political commentator from time to time, activist, and just overall into spreading special stuff, and grateful to be able to do that every Sunday with you underdogs out there, my people. If you want to join the conversation today, and today we're going to be talking about boycotts, because there's a lot of them. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And at the same time, keeping it real, it's hard to stand for everything. So as we go on the journey today, I'm curious, which boycotts are you participating in, and which ones are you sitting out on? I'm curious. I want to get personal about the news and the culture. So that means we might talk about H&M. A lot of people out there Netflixing and chilling. I want to know, are you going to be Netflixing and chilling out? Given Miss Monique and what happened with her recently. It's ironic that I get to do this show with you every Sunday, and Sundays are football days. Super Bowl's coming up. How many people still on there? Colin Kaepernick. Or have you opted out of that protest and that boycott too? Or are you still all in? Even as one of the most popular TV shows there is in the world, called the Super Bowl, is about to happen next week. Why are you boycotting? Or why are you not boycotting? All right, let's get back into this. Let me reset the situation. We're about to talk about this.
Hey, my loves. I am asking that you stand with me and boycott Netflix for gender bias and color bias. I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went back and renegotiated $2 more million because she said I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends, however I should get more, and Netflix agreed. When we asked Netflix to explain the difference, why the money was so different, they said, well, we believe that's what Monique will bring. We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then Netflix said, by the way, we believe Monique is a legend too. Why shouldn't I get what the legends are getting? Please stand with me in this boycott of Netflix. I love us for real.
That's Monique making a request that folks boycott Netflix. Who's Monique? Started her career as a stand-up comedian. In 1989, she got selected to appear on It's Showtime at the Apollo. Shout out to Harlem. It's Showtime at the Apollo tonight. Coming to the stage. In 1999, she got the starring role in UPN sitcom The Parker. Show ran for 5 seasons. She got 3 NAACP Image Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. In 2001, she headlined the Queens of Comedy Comedy Tour. In 2002, she earned a Grammy nomination for Best Spoken Comedy Album. She then became the host of It's Showtime at the Apollo, which made her the first female comedian to hold that title. 2003, she came out with a book. 2005, she had a show on Oxygen Network. In 2009, she played Precious, won her Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in 2010. And from 2009 to 2014, she hosted her own show called The Monique Show. And she starred in the 2014 film Blackbird. Sounds like a pretty impressive resume to me. How impressive does it sound to you? And as she said in her video or audio that I just played, she's asking folks to boycott Netflix because they offered her $500,000 for a comedy special. And at the same time, they offered a comedian named Amy Schumer $13 million and offered a comedian D-Ray Davis about $5 million for his special. Wanda Sykes, another accomplished comedian and writer in the industry, I believe got offered the same or even less than Monique got offered, which has some people questioning why are women, and in this case, potentially especially black women, getting underpaid all the time? And is it time for us all to take a stand with them? One of the things that caught my attention inside of this story was, I believe it happened on Twitter, where Monique voiced her frustration, and then I believe Wanda Sykes retweeted that, oh, guess what? Something like that happened to me too. They offered me around that same amount of money. And it got me to thinking, what would it be like if we actually knew what our colleagues, our coworkers, our teammates made? Not to be in their business, but in a way so that we can know whether or not we're getting our fair market value or value, at least within the company that we work in. Who would be up for that? Would you share your salary with a coworker, with a teammate? I mean, I could argue not sharing may not be working out for us, especially as underdogs out there. So it might be at least worth trying something different. Because I'm a big information guy. And what do I mean by that? For those who live in New York City, you remember Mayor Bloomberg. They used to call him Nanny Bloomberg, because he would try to do some initiatives where maybe his heart was in the right place, but I didn't always agree with the policy that he wanted to enact. So I believe he wanted a soda tax. Tax soda, the sugary drinks, causing all these problems. Make it cost more money. Maybe people will buy less soda. Intentions, probably good. Execution, didn't work for me. I'm like, for one, how you going to randomly pick soda? You're not going to tax donuts. You're not going to tax milkshakes. You're not going to tax candy. You're just going to randomly pick soda. And I don't like this whole idea of like picking and choosing winners and losers. So if it's legal, if it's allowed to be sold, let it be sold. Don't just tax some one random piece of food and beverages. I wasn't feeling that. Let people choose to drink or eat what they want, as long as it's legal for that product to be sold and it's legal for folks to buy it. Then they should be able to pick and choose whether they want to have soda or not. Don't tell me if I should have soda. Don't tax me extra because I want to have some soda. But what I do like is when they pass the policy about letting us know how many calories are in meals that we're about to eat. Because I love information. Because when I know better, I can do better. So now it's full disclosure. I get to know how healthy something may or may not be. And then I get to choose whether I want it or not. Because when I know better, I can do better. And at the same time, let me be free. Let me be a person who gets to make my own decisions, my own choices. And so when it comes to pay, it's been reported that minorities and then also women oftentimes get paid less than a male white counterpart. That's not me speculating or trying to start some drama. That's just it's the facts, stats, public information. But what isn't public is sometimes I've been there. I don't know how much other people are making. It's hard for me to negotiate with a lack of information. I'm a big sports fan. I think there's something kind of cool about knowing, if I play for the New York Knicks, knowing how much Kristaps Porzingis makes. And then I get to negotiate my contract based on, well, I'm not quite as good as Kristaps Porzingis, but I'm not as bad as a 12 man. This is like my resume. This is how good I've been. This is what I'm projected to do. I'm going to negotiate this amount of money. And it's cool because I can see other players around the league too, what they're making, what cities they're in, what contracts they got. And now I can negotiate better. Now, who doesn't like this? Well, people who are overpaid probably don't like this. The employers probably don't like this because they probably think it's annoying to have to explain to people why someone gets paid more or less or the same as someone else. I don't think that's annoyance. I just think that that's just the right thing to do. And if you can make the case that I should earn less than someone else, then make your case. And then I get to choose either stay or leave. Or you get to choose either pay me more or not. Because oftentimes this idea of don't be in other people's pockets, don't let people know how much money you make, don't be in my business. Where's that getting us? It's getting us underpaid. You know, we get personal about the news and the culture. Who's willing to tell their coworkers, their teammates, how much money they make? If you're Monique, if you're a woman in America compared to men, women make 80% on average of what men make. So for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 80 cents. But y'all don't want to know what other people make. More and more companies are starting to share salaries with others. This transparency helps problems be recognized and helps boost job performance. It makes the question of, am I making enough, go away. Some companies have even started having coworkers vote on if somebody deserves a raise. Well, I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. Keeping pay a secret is linked to lower employee performance and higher turnover rates. Making salaries open for everybody to see can improve employees and workplace overall. It's from an article in the Wall Street Journal. And then if we take it a step deeper, I was reading up on this article called, Is Pay Transparency Right for Your Company? We asked a few that tried it. Now, no good deed goes unpunished. Nothing is an elixir to bring utopia to the world. There's obviously going to be upsides and downsides to if we have open salaries, that if everybody knows how much everybody's making. A potential downfall of that pay transparency is that when people who are making less get a raise, then the ones that are already making that amount think they should get a raise too. Pay transparency also makes companies have a formula to come up with salaries. I'm up for it. Now, I get a little nervous because I've been raised to keep that to myself, keep my business. Don't tell people how much rent you pay. Don't tell people what your mortgage is. Don't tell people how much money you're making. But where's that getting us? Underdogs. I'm here to say that we should at least, we talk about protest, the progress of action. I say the next time you're at your job and someone in management or HR asks what's one of the things you want to try out or see have differently at your company, tell them you want to explore open salaries. Tell them you want to have access to information to know how much your peers are making so you can negotiate the right salary or compensation package. Now, we put politics, culture, and personal development in a blender and it spits out underdog stuff. So that means I got to at least do a little politics here, which I'm proud of myself. I haven't talked about Donald Trump this show. Every now and then, I just think we need a breather, or at least I need a breather from it. So I've chosen not to have a show where we talk about Donald. But I'm going to mention him at least this one time. Because sometimes people who listen, and shout out to the occasional Trump supporter that accidentally finds the show. I appreciate you too. There's underdogs that are Republicans, even if they don't think so. Some of y'all got the odds stacked against y'all to win too. And so for some of you who think that I just despise the 45th president of the United States, that I go between whether I should call him a racist or whether he's just someone who does racist or says racist things. For those who may go, Gregory, why do you get on him about how he leads all the time? And I could go there, but today I want to talk about policy. Give my mature self here and say one of the reasons why I'm against Donald Trump is for some of the policy stances he takes. Like the Trump administration has stopped an Obama-era rule requiring large companies to report how much they pay workers by race and gender. This rule was intended to help close the persistent wage gap between men and women, as well as between racial groups, through greater pay transparency. Under the Obama rule, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission would have used the data to help investigate complaints and flag pay discrepancies for further inquiry. To protect privacy, data about individual firms or employees wouldn't have been made public, but the agency would have revealed or released aggregate data about pay in different industries broken down by race and gender. So what's one of the reasons why I don't like Trump? Some of the policies he's for and some of the ones that he has repealed from the Obama administration, like the one that was going to at least attempt to help close the pay gap. With that, I'm going to take a quick break, also a water break, as I power through this bit of being under the weather, but not too under the weather to not be on the air with underdogs and my people. One of my favorite things to do every week is be here with you. And I appreciate you. Welcome back to the Gregory Nesmith Show. Underdogs, you know what we do here. We put politics, we put culture, and personal development. We put it in a blender, mix it all up, and spits out a special delivery of underdog stuff, where we get personal about the news and the culture. And today, we've been talking about boycotts. There's so much stuff to choose from these days. H&M, Amazon, that was a close one. NFL. Some folks out here Netflixing and chilling. Monique wants us to Netflix and chill out. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are you or aren't you boycotting, and why? Now, we had a caller who tried to call in. Then I looked on the Facebook Live and I saw a comment from none other than Selena Media Mogul Hill, also one of the hosts of Let Your Voice Be Heard, which comes on every Sunday from 11 a.m. to noon on WHCR 90.3 FM. They talk politics. They talk about what's going on in society and culture. And Selena had a comment, and I saw her in the studio, and I said, don't post your comment on Facebook, which I appreciate. But I said, Selena Hill, come on into the studio. Say what's up to the underdogs out there.
Oh, my God. What's up, underdog family? Shout out to Greg. This topic you're doing a great job discussing this topic. And I had to chime in.
I appreciate that. Now, chime in because we've been talking about, I think sometimes people may not like the messenger and sometimes the message get lost. Because it seems like some people like Monique, some people don't. But pay inequality is real, especially if you're a woman, and especially if you're a minority. And Selena Hill, can you relate to being a woman or a minority?
As a black woman, of course. And I think that no matter what your perspective and opinion on Monique is, like you said, this raises a larger issue about race and gender-based pay inequality. And I think that, like you were saying, if we have more transparency at these companies and businesses, and we know how much everyone gets paid based on just their position, then basically it eliminates animosity. It eliminates like company gossip. It eliminates feelings of like insecurities about your position and like how you're being viewed. I think that if more businesses adopted this model, then employees would appreciate it and understand why they get paid what they get paid, rather than finding out through the grapevine that homie to the right who got hired 6 months ago makes $5,000 more than you, and you're basically doing the same thing. Like, stuff like that definitely demolishes company culture and like that team that you're trying to build. So I'm not here for it. And what I wrote in that comment is that I actually saw a study that said that millennials are more open or willing to be open about their salary. So why not make it transparent?
I agree with you. And I love the fact that millennials are more transparent. And at the same time, I don't want it to all just to be on the shoulders of the employees. The employers get to get in this game too and do their part to be more transparent. Now, why do you think this will be hard to have happen?
Because companies would have to justify why they don't pay certain people a certain amount of money. And I wouldn't be surprised if more of the people of color and more of the women were getting paid less than white men or just the men in their company. So they don't want to be held accountable. They want to pay people based on what they think they deserve rather than being just equal and just making the playing field equal for everyone.
I agree with you. Underdog, do you agree with Miss Selena Hill? Because guess what? Not sharing our salaries, how's that working out for us?
I'm upset because I think about it all the time. Like, I have thoughts in the back of my mind, like, I wonder how much my coworker gets paid. It comes up every now and then because I don't think it's fair. And I just want to know. Now, I don't ask people because I don't want to, like, start any animosity at work, but it is something that definitely crosses my mind.
So you want to get up in their business?
No, I don't want to get into anybody's business. But look, there have been a number of my coworkers who have opened up and told me how much they get paid. I didn't reciprocate. I didn't tell them how much I have, but there have been definitely a lot of people. And because they got paid less, I wasn't upset. But I'm like, we need to just eliminate all of this.
When we know better, we can do better.
Exactly.
Miss Selena Hill, I appreciate you for stopping in.
Oh, my God. I appreciate your show, and I appreciate you for having this discussion.
No, thank you. Now, any closing thoughts? So are you going to go to your place of employment? Are you going to make a request to your HR department about open salaries or trying to figure out some way to close the pay gap?
Am I going to go to HR? I would have to first mobilize and organize with a number of other coworkers, and I would probably start a petition. Okay. And I would, lay out the ground, like the principles behind it and why we want this company changed. But I wouldn't do it by myself. No. I would have to lead a movement. Yes, united we stand, or divided we fall and get underpaid. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We like to thank Miss Selena Hill for stopping through. Selena Hill, how can folks get in touch with you if they want more Selena Hill? And they should want more Selena Hill. You guys can definitely follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Miss Selena Hill, and Miss is spelled with an M-S. I always say that because people try to act like I'm running for Miss America. They put the M-I-S-S. No, it's just M-S. I am not mad at that. Thank you, Selena Hill, for stopping in. We're going to take a quick break, and then we come back, the big finish to the Gregory Nesmith Show. Let's get personal about the news and the culture. Shout out to Selena Hill, who stopped by the studio to share her perspective on closing the pay gap. You can get on Monique all you want for folks who just may not like her or don't think she's earned
more money or think that she hasn't done much in a while, you can get on Monique. But I bet you are likely underpaid for the value that you create at your job, your place of employment. Because I believe if we know better, we do better. And so I'm saying to underdogs, not only do we talk about the news and the culture, we get personal about it. And I'm saying the next time your HR person at work inquires about what you want them to look into, what's on your mind, maybe ask them, where do we stand on pay gaps? Are we considering open salaries and more transparency with our compensation packages? Now, they might look at you crazy, but those are all questions that you get to inquire about, requests you get to make. Because we don't just talk about the news, we get personal about it. So go out there and ask your employer, where they are on the topic. Man, 2 hours flew by, as always. I'm glad I didn't say all the stuff I wanted to talk about today because, as always, we didn't get to all the stuff I wanted to talk about. But we did get to talk about boycotts, and there's a lot to choose from. And my point, though, is I know you can't stand for everything, but stand for something. Something that is near and dear to your heart. And when you take a stand and do some of these boycotts, as Barry said earlier, Deborah said too, what happens is you now free up some of your time. You now can consume less and create more. And so now maybe those dollars you would have taken to H&M, you can go invest. Maybe that time you've been spending on Sunday to watch football, you can go out and volunteer. Or you can read. Or from 12 to 2 p.m. you can listen to the Gregory Nesmith Show. I couldn't resist saying that. I mean, if you have some extra time on your Sundays not watching football, might as well hang out with the underdogs. So I leave you with these closing thoughts. Please consider open salaries. Because not sharing how much we make with each other, where's that gotten us? It's gotten a lot of underdogs underpaid. And as always, man, we've come to the end of the show. And you know what I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote. Underdogs, can't nobody do it like you do it. Nobody. Peace.